The woman who just married into the countryside was shocked to find the villager helping her husband with farm work looked exactly like a billionaire tycoon. At first she did not care, until her husband laid out a whole table of rare delicacies, and even used top-grade caviar as a side dish. Even the wires at home were made of pure gold. Only then did she realize her flash marriage husband was no ordinary man. It turned out the man's son was the richest person in the world, but the son hid his true identity from his father, planning to bring him to the city for a big surprise. Yet the man only cared about urging his son to have children, so the son set a condition: unless the man found him a stepmother, he would never marry or have kids. The man, worried about where to find a wife, by chance overheard the woman on the phone. She lied about being remarried to avoid reconciling with her ex-husband. The man boldly struck up a conversation, and so, for their own purposes, the two quickly got a marriage certificate. Now that they were a legitimate couple, the man invited his wife home to meet the family, which led to the opening scene. But just as they sat down to eat, the wife's ex-husband and daughter showed up. The ex stormed in and tried to flip the table, but it would not move an inch. The man simply pulled up stools and invited them to eat. Looking at the seafood feast, the ex mocked the man, saying he must have spent everything to please a rich woman. Then he tried again to overturn the table, but even with all his strength he could not lift it, almost breaking his tailbone in the process. The ex grew suspicious. No normal table could be that heavy, so he checked carefully, and was stunned to discover it was made of golden nanmu wood. The wife explained if it was real nanmu, it would be priceless. The man laughed and said impossible. His son bought it second-hand from a flea market. How could it be worth so much? The ex saw the man did not know its value, and offered $100,000 to buy it. The man thought of his son earning only $3,000 a month, needing 3 years without spending a dime to save that much, so he readily agreed. But the wife stopped him, saying such a large piece of nanmu was worth at least 8 figures. If the man trusted her, she could send it to auction for a fortune. But the man refused, saying if the woman liked it, he would give it to her for free. Seeing the couple show affection, the ex grew furious, mocking that the man's house was shabby and broken, then ripped a painting off the wall in anger, about to laugh at the man for treating a fake picture as treasure, only to be stunned it was an authentic subehon. He then noticed the power outlets in the house were made of solid gold. The wife too was shaken, realizing the unremarkable items in the house were worth at least billions, but the daughter claimed it was all fake, that the man was a fraud, unworthy of her mother. The ex tore the painting to pieces, and threatened the man, if he agreed to divorce, he would pay him $100,000 as compensation, otherwise he would not only take the table, but also flatten the entire village. Seeing them pick a fight the moment they arrived, the man had endured for his wife's sake, but with their open threats, he could no longer hold back, and slapped the ex across the face. As a high-ranking executive, the ex had never been humiliated like that. He immediately called the company security, not knowing the man's son he looked down on was actually the president of the group, and the villagers around were all billionaires arranged by the son to accompany his father in retirement. The man alone was unaware. He then grabbed a rusty gong from the yard and began calling people. The sound quickly reached the billionaires. At that moment, the security guards arrived. The ex ordered them to break the man's legs, but just then, the billionaires showed up in time.